Well, the BBC monitoring team, as their name suggests, closely monitor news outlets all around the world. And Kerry Allen looks specifically into Chinese media. I spoke to her a little bit earlier on and asked her how the Chinese media is reporting on events in Zimbabwe.
Well, it has actually been one of the headlines in a lot of foreign affairs newspapers in China today. But a lot of people, a lot of the media have been playing down any suggestion that the situation is going to have any impact on Chinese companies and investors in the country, because China has a very big presence in various parts of Africa, and this has been a large focus of the media today.
Is there a sense that there's an interest amongst the wider Chinese population about this? For example, are there discussions on social media?
There are discussions. They're largely off the back of posts by official outlets like People's Daily. And one of the big kind of talking points today is whether people are safe. A lot of official media, they've been sharing an infographic that lists the emergency contact numbers for embassies that Chinese people can contact. And while it doesn't actually say what's going on in Zimbabwe, it does kind of note as a general security awareness. It says there are tensions in Zimbabwe at the moment, but it also says there are tensions between Chinese communities and other areas as well.
Is there an official line coming from the Chinese government about what's happening in Zimbabwe, or are they reining back on that?
Yeah, there is an official line, but they're not saying there's a coup in the country. They're saying there's a peaceful transfer of power. So that's the line that's been coming across most strongly. And one large spokesperson for official media in China, Hu Xijin, who's he's the editor of foreign affairs newspaper Global Times, which is one of the most widely read newspapers in China. He's been saying that there's never been any anti-China factions in the country, and the relations with China are good between Zimbabwe. And he said, don't focus on this particular incident. This isn't going to have an impact on Chinese affairs. So that's been one of the strongest angles.
So they're in some ways downplaying it, like the Zimbabweans who are saying this is merely a transfer of power. That's kind of how the Chinese government are looking at it, rather than being a big change, a big shift in the country.
Yes, they really are. What they're saying more than anything is that the Chinese are not involved with this, and there is a bit of tension and a bit of friction. But they're saying that Chinese people within the country are safe, and that it's not going to impact potential investors and people coming into the country.
That was Kerry Allen speaking to me a little bit earlier on. She was looking at what Chinese media is saying about events in Zimbabwe. And just